3,400 years ago from now, Musa alayhi salam, the Prophet, he obviously was victorious over Fir'aun. And we talk about Musa alayhi salam and his victory because the Quran talks about Musa alayhi salam. And when the Quran talks about Musa alayhi salam, the Quran talks about the battle that Musa alayhi salam had against Pharaoh, against Fir'aun, the tyrant. And the reason why Allah Ta'ala talks about Musa versus Fir'aun, not just because it's a verses in a sense where it's who's better than who, but it's really to show us that who was right and who was wrong. You see, the Quran tells us what's right versus what's wrong, because this versus mentality is not really the mandate. It's not, me versus you. It's not, Musa versus Fir'aun. It's haqq versus batil. It's always haqq versus batil. And that's why I remember, I'm sure you all know that in a battle once Sayyidina Ali karramallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem, he was in a battle and he was fighting, and this individual, when Sayyidina Ali was fighting him, he spat on the face of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And at that moment, Sayyidina Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib karramallahu ta'ala wajhul kareem, he said to him, now I was going to take care of you, but now that you've spat on me, it's no longer me doing this for Allah. Now it will, if I do something to you, it's going to be me versus you now. So therefore I forgive you, go. And the reason why I say this is because we need to get out of this me versus you and us versus them mentality, because it's dangerous. Because we have to work towards preserving humanity. This is the madrasa of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and this was the mandate, and this was the vision of Sayyidina Imam Hussain ibn Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. When he took his family members and his supporters and followers, and they totaled 72 of them, he went in order to preserve humanity, to preserve justice, and to preserve the truth. It wasn't me versus you. Because, how can you compare someone who is grown, how can you compare that flower which is grown in the garden of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how can you compare that flower or that product to any other product? There's no comparison whatsoever. How can you compare someone who has been brought up by the best of creation sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam? There's no comparison whatsoever. So it wasn't me versus you, it was haqq versus batil. And that also tells us that in life we are put through many challenges and trials and tribulations. What is the purpose of these trials and tribulations? Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Holy Quran, He says, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ. He says the purpose of these trials and tribulations is what? لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ. So that we can most verily keep on testing you. أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. So we can test you to see that amongst you, amidst the test, during the test, who can perform the most honorable action in that moment of test and trial and tribulation. You see, in good times, like I said yesterday in a lecture, when you're checking in 10, 15,000, 25,000 a month, or even 7, 8, 5,000 a month, your bills are being paid, you have no debts, mashallah, you have variety on your table spread, on your dastarkhan, everything is good, life is jolly, you have no problem. You say, Alhamdulillah, Allah, you are in a good mood. You smile. But that's easy. It's easy to do that when you're in that situation. You see, what's hard is when you don't have a job, when you're not married, when you don't have children, or when you're divorced, or when as parents, for example, when your children don't care about you, they, keep you deserted, they neglect you. It's then when the test comes that how do you act then? How do you treat people when you are yourself in difficulty? That's why they say that if you want to find out the nature, the true natureful essence of an individual, then you will find that out when that person is put in a difficulty. When the tough gets going, the going get tough. Like the saying goes, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So it's in these moments of difficulties when we also find out who is with us and who is against us. And those people who used to say to us, it's we versus them, it's you versus them now. Yani they also desert you. And that's why I always say, my brothers and sisters, Karbala, Karbo Bala, Karb means desert, Bala means a place of extreme affliction. You see Karbala and the sacrifice of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Ibn Ali, Ibn Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Al-Hussain is the son of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, as was stated by the messenger himself when he said that Hassan and Hussain are my children. Hassan and Hussain are my children. Sayyida Shababi Ahl al-Jannah, he said, like we hear every Friday in the khutbah, that they are the leaders of the youth of paradise. That's why the sacrifice of Al-Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu is by itself a madrasa, it's a school. It's a school of self-purification. It's a school of elevation and illumination. It's a school of courage, a school of justice, a school of generosity, a school of nobility, my brothers and sisters. And we can't neglect the mentioning of Al-Hussain. We simply cannot, because the Quran did not neglect the mentioning of Al-Hussain, neither did our Master Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam neglect the mentioning of his beloved grandson. So who are we in the year 2016, 400 years later? Who is someone who has the audacity to come, na'udhu billah, on the mimbar, and the mimbar is the mimbar of Hussain as well. The Quran is Husain's Quran. It was revealed in Husain's house. Masjid al-Nabawi is the house of Hussain. The Quran is the Quran of Hussain. Quran hai Hussain ka, Shariat Hussain ki. Quran hai Hussain ka, Shariat Hussain ki. Islam kya hai? Seerat wa Surat Hussain ki. There's a narration where once the son of Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and Sayyidina al-Hussain were playing in the masjid, and the son of Sayyidina Umar, he goes on the mimbar. Al-Hussain radiyallahu ta'ala anhu says, get off my grandfather's mimbar. And the young boys, sometimes these things happen. Now Sayyidina Umar's son then goes to his father and he complains. He says, oh, my father, Hussain and me, we were playing, and Hussain, he said this to me. He said, get off my grandfather's mimbar, you are the slaves of my grandfather. And Sayyidina Umar says to his son, is this true? He goes, okay, let's go to the house of Hussain. He goes to the house of Hussain. He knocks on the door. Al-Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu opens the door. Subhanallah, from here we can see the courage of Hussain. When children play sometimes, they may say something. Now, when a complaint happens, when the child is now interviewed and asked, did you say this? The child will say, no, I didn't say this, out of fear. But look at the courage of Hussain when he is asked by Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab that did you in reality say that we are the slaves of your grandfather? Al-Hussain said, yes, I said this. Hussain is Hussain. Hussain is Hussain. It's a madrasa of courage. Ghaira, you have ghaira? You have ghaira, you have manhood. You have manhood, then you will talk about Hussain. If there's no manhood, then you have to be scared, Hussein said, yes, I said that. So Sayyidina Umar said, please write it down on a paper for me. Then I will take this to my grave, that we are the slaves of your grandfather. That's why Karbala is a madrasa of al-Hussein. It's a madrasa ilmiya, madrasa amaliya, madrasa ihsaniya. It's a madrasa, it's a school. And we have to learn from this school. It's an extension of the madrasa of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. This is the madrasa of sacrifices. This is an extension. In fact, the madrasa of Hussein is greater than the madrasa of Ibrahim. Why? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he was ready to sacrifice his son, Allah Ta'ala replaced his son with a what? With an animal. Hussein alayhi salam, his 6-month-old, was sacrificed in this madrasa to show us that the children of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the children of the best and the leader of prophets, are in reality the leaders of paradise. Because the Anbiya, are the prophets going to be in paradise? Of course they are going to be. Who is going to be the leader of the prophets? Because in Jannah everyone is going to be young. Even companions like Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, they will be young. Who is going to be their leader? Al-Hasan wal-Hussein will be their leaders. But you see, they earned that leadership. In today's day and age, you can buy your way into leadership, can't you? You can buy your way into leadership, but the Ahlul Bayt and the A'imma of the Ahlul Bayt al-Athhar alayhim salam, they earned their leadership. And that's why in the few moments I have, my brothers and sisters, I want to talk about the son of Sayyidina Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhu. I mean, which sons shall I talk about? Obviously, I can't talk about the 6-month-old because the 6-month-old is already martyred now. And Ali al-Akbar, his eldest son, it was also martyred. There was one son left of al-Hussein after Karbala, my brothers and sisters, and Allah Ta'ala afflicted him with an illness from the wisdom of Allah Ta'ala. And al-Hussein radiallahu ta'ala anhu did not let, although Zayn al-Abidin, his name is Ali al-Awsat, and his name is Ali bin Hussein, and his title was Zayn al-Abidin, or as-Sajjad. Zayn al-Abidin means the most beautiful of worshippers, and as-Sajjad means as-Sajjad from Fa'al, the one who does excessive sujood. He said to his father, when he was the only man left, he said, my father, let me go in the battle. And the father, Hussein said, you stay, Zayn al-Abidin, because you see, he was going to continue to preserve the progeny of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ali ibn al-Hussein is not your ordinary or your average individual, Ali ibn al-Hussein is, if I may say, the Alawi Husayni, is a flower from Ali ibn al-Hussein, Zayn al-Abidin al-Sajjad, is a flower from the Alawi Fatimi Husayni garden. And you just imagine. And I remember the incident when, now obviously Imam Hussain, he has been martyred, and you know how he was martyred. They say don't talk about al-Hussein's martyrdom. Someone said to me that don't teach young children. I'm talking about 10, 11-year-olds, 13. Don't tell them about what happened in Karbala, how the Ahlul Bayt were tortured, because it could have psychological effects on them. And you look at the excuses our people come up with, subhanAllah. Psychological effects. Some say, we shouldn't talk about Hussein or Fatima or Ali or Hassan or Zayn al-Abidin, because this gives by doing this we support another sect. So excuse number 2. Excuse number 3 is, let's not talk about them because we may be labeled. And if we get labeled, then we'll stop getting donations and these kind of things. And you look at the hypocrisy, my brothers and sisters. Are we so, have we become so lowly that we have to now make excuses to go talk about those whom Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam loved the most? Is this our iman? Allah Ta'ala forgive us and protect us. So when Imam Hussain radiallahu ta'ala, as you know, his final moments are when he's on his horse, and his horse was the horse of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was carrying the sword of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was wearing the cloak of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was wearing the turban of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's carrying the blood of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's breathing the breath of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His ruh is the ruh of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His skin is the skin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. From here, from the belly button to below, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it is said in the authentic narrations that he resembled the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But wait a minute. So although he is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. According to the narration, Hussain is from me, and he's representing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But I guess that didn't make a difference. And that's why I said many years ago that there's a narration in the Kutub al-Sitta, the 6 books of Hadith, that on one occasion the companions, when the Prophet ﷺ did some cupping, and it's sunnah to do cupping, hijama, the Prophet ﷺ, after he did cupping, his obviously blood was kept in a bowl. He said, "Where's my blood?" One of the companions said, "Ya Rasulullah, we drank your blood." So on one incident, we have companions drinking the very blood of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and this is obviously in the beginning of Hijrah. But 50 years later, that same blood of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is being spilled through the plains of Karbala. Look at how dark our history is. And then they say, don't read your history. Ya Allah. You see, we don't read history we read history from the Quran and the authentic Sunnah. And the reason why we have nifaq and hypocrisy and killing and dhulm in today's day and age is because we are ignorant of history. And it's because we did not learn lessons from what took place with the very family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So Imam Hussain, as you know, in his final moments, on his horse, and they group on him, and a spear is targeted and attacked and thrown at his head, which makes him bow down. And just imagine if someone stabs you, what's the first thing you do? And it doesn't make sense to me, because I remember when, a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, those who say you can't, it may have psychological effects, so then you should stop allowing your children to watch cartoons as well. You know why? Because monsters come in cartoons. And then, those who go to schools, we should, write a letter to our schools and say, my son, please don't, my son cannot read literature and Macbeth and all these things because he may have psychological effects. Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. Yani, if you want to think of excuses, at least try to be just. I mean, if your grandfather was butchered and martyred, when your son is going to be 9, 10 years old, are you not going to tell him about your grandfather? This is the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. If we don't tell our children about the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, you expect a public school to tell our children about the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam? Al-Hussein then, when he is obviously, the spear is on his head, the first thing he does is what? He falls down and he starts praying to Allah Ta'ala. He prays salah and he goes into sujood. وَاعْبُدْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. In other words, he does tarjuma of this verse, which means worship your Lord until you reach al-yaqeen, or until you die. Because his father Ali ibn Abi Talib, he was in sujood when he was stabbed. So Zayn al-Abidin goes into sujood as well. Sorry, Al-Hussein ibn Ali goes into sujood as well. And then when his head, blessed head, is separated, he does not scream. What does he do? The poet says, Shah Saware Karbala ki Shah Savari ko salam. Shah Saware Karbala ki Shah Savari ko salam. Neze pe Quran padhne wale qari ko salam. He recites the Quran of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. कटे हुए सरे अक़दस सिनों के नेज़ा पर कुरान पाक सुनाना हुसैन जानते हैं. We want to teach our children the Quran. You want them to become hafiz of the Quran? Then we have to educate them about the best qari that existed on the face of this earth. And that is Al-Hussein ibn Ali. In his time, he was the best qari. And the best qari before him was Ali ibn Abi Talib. And the best qari before Ali was Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When Zayn al-Abidin as-Sajjad, I don't have time. I have just written a paper, compiled a paper just now. It's about 35 pages on Imam Zayn al-Abidin. If anyone is interested, I will give you a copy, inshallah. Sadly, we don't have literature on the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt. Zayn al-Abidin. But let me finish. Al-Hussein, they did not just separate his blessed head from his body. An order came now, get the horses to be rode over the blessed body of Al-Hussein. And then his blessed head was placed on a spear and it was shown everywhere. Because prize money was going to be awarded for his head. This is the head that the Prophet ﷺ used to kiss. Why did he kiss it? He was kissing it to show me and you that this head that I am kissing and this head that I revere, it's going to be the same head that is going to be insulted. And the same people who say La ilaha illallah, the same people who worry about praying Asr, the killers of Al-Hussein, the enemies of Allah, they were worried. Oh, you know what, Asr time is going to finish, let's pray Asr. You're torturing the family of Rasulullah and you care about Asr. Is your namaz going to be counted? If you have enmity towards Hussein, is your namaz counted? Ash-Shafi'i said, if you don't send salawat on Ahlul Bayt, your namaz is not counted. يا آل بيت رسول الله حبكم فرض من الله في القرآن أنزله يكفيكم من فخر العظيم أنكم من لم يصلي عليكم لا صلاة له. Zayn al-Abidin as-Sajjad, Imam Ali ibn Hussain, when he is chained, they chained him, he was sick, he's sick. When you have enmity towards someone, and the poet said, नसीर आखिर अदावत के भी कुछ आदाब होते हैं, नसीर आखिर अदावत के भी कुछ आदाब होते हैं, किसी बीमार को जंजीर पहनाई नहीं जाती. They chained someone who is sick, and then when the criminals of Yazid bin Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, when they chained him, they said that don't let him speak, don't let Zayn al-Abidin speak. Why? Zuqqul ilm zaqqa. He is from the Ahlul Bayt and he has been spoon-fed knowledge. And then they asked him, who are you? Who is your grandfather? Then he told them, I'm the son. He didn't say, I'm the son of Rasulullah. He said, Ana ibn Makkah wa Mina. I'm the son of Makkah and Mina. You know, you like Makkah. You like the Kaaba. I'm the son of Makkah and Mina. Ana ibn Zamzam wa Safa. I'm the son of Zamzam and Safa. It continues and continues. And let me just say something about Zayn al-Abidin. He's the same one that I think we have to do a whole course on Zayn al-Abidin, my brothers and sisters. We need to spend months just learning about Zayn al-Abidin. But I remember now that there's one incident where when Zayn al-Abidin, one of his titles was Ya'sub al-Muslimin. So one day he visits the Kaaba, Zayn al-Abidin, and as soon as he enters the Kaaba, how many people are in the Haram? Millions or thousands or hundreds of thousands at a time. The moment he enters, everyone moves away so that he can do. And this is the respect they have for Zayn al-Abidin. And Zayn al-Abidin, Allah Ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ, that the only reward of goodness is that you portray goodness. So look at the sabr. I mentioned the ayah in my khutbah at the beginning, I'm about to finish, that Allah says glad tidings are for those who remain patient. Imam Zayn al-Abidin Imam Hussain as-Sajjad, and the reason why his name is as-Sajjad and Zayn al-Abidin is the books of Tarajim write, like Hafiz al-Dhahabi and others, they write that Imam Zayn al-Abidin, he used to perform 1,000 rak'ah every single day. How many rak'ah? And you know when Imam as-Sajjad Zayn al-Abidin passed away? When he passed away, there was a big problem because there was a big need of money for zakat. You know why? Because in the night, as Zayn al-Abidin as-Sajjad, he used to go secretly and give charity to people. And one day, one of those who killed the shuhada of Karbala, he comes to Imam Zayn al-Abidin in Madinatul Munawwara, and he knocks on the door of Zayn al-Abidin and he says, Ya Imam, I'm a traveler, can you help me, can you give me some money, can you give me some provision from... So Zayn al-Abidin, Imam as-Sajjad radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he says, you know, here's 1,000 dirhams, this is all I have. He gives him whatever he has. And then he gives him water, and then this enemy of Allah, this torturer and this criminal, he says to Imam Zayn al-Abidin, do you remember me? And Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, of course I remember you. Because this was the same individual who killed Ali al-Asghar. Imagine someone comes and knocks on your door, and he killed one of your family members. I don't want to say what you're going to do to that person. But let's learn from Zayn al-Abidin that what we have to do and how patient we have to be. Because glad tidings are for those who remain patient. Zayn al-Abidin as-Sajjad, he says to that individual, yes, I do recognize you, but when we were in Karbala, we were hosted by you. You were our hosts, and you treated us like that. But now you have come to my door, I am your host, and this is how the Ahlul Bayt treat their hosts. Now if someone says to us, we can't talk about Ahlul Bayt, then the question is, how are we going to become good human beings? How are we going to learn how to be generous? How are we going to learn how to be forgiving? How are we going to follow the Quran and the Sunnah, authentic Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi? My brothers and sisters, as parents, as brothers and sisters, as elders, as intellectual individuals, we have an obligation. And that obligation is what the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said, that I left behind for you two things, and if you hold on to them, you will never ever be misguided. Awwaluhuma, the first and the greatest one of them is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the book of Allah ta'ala, included is the authentic sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. And the second thing is what? وَعِتْرَتِي, he said, my family, my Ahlul Bayt. إِن تَمَسَّكْتُمْ بِهِمَا, if you hold on to them, you will never, ever, ever be misguided. The reason why we have so much misguidance, the reason why we have so much confusion, the reason why we have so much delusion, the reason why we have so much poison in today's day and age is because the connecting to the Quran, the authentic Sunnah and the Itra in this sequence, in this prophetic sequence is not present in the Ummah nowadays, my brothers and sisters. Except in a very small way whatsoever. This is why we have so much misguidance, so much confusion, so much corruption, so much poison, so much contamination, my brothers and sisters. And that's why, my brothers and sisters, we have to listen to this advice of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to hold on to firstly the Quran, the book of Allah ta'ala, then the authentic sunnah of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, followed by the itra, and the itra refers to those who displayed to us how we can, in the best manner possible, hold on, practice, preach and propagate, remain patient, persistence, and how we can persevere in following the Quran, the authentic sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, then lastly following the itra of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala empower us, may He give us the courage, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to teach our children the truth, and may Allah ta'ala allow our children and the entire ummah to hold on to the Quran, the authentic sunnah, and the itra of Sayyidina al-Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. And like the poet said, हर एक ज़हन में है कुछ न कुछ तसव्वुर हक़, हर एक ज़हन में है कुछ न कुछ tasawwur haqq. The poet said that in everyone's mind there is a little bit of perception of what is the truth. हम उस tasawwur haqq को Hussein कहते हैं. We call that imagination, that realization of truth, Hussein. And like the poet said, he said, na madrase na masajid, na madrase na masajid, na falsafa na kalam. Na madrase, na masajid, na falsafa, na kalam. You don't need mosques, you don't need schools. Metaphorically, you don't need philosophy, you don't need any speech. Na madrase, na masajid, na falsafa, na kalam. Subut-e haq ke liye bas Hussein kafi hai. In order to prove what's the truth, the haq, Hussein is enough to prove that. And he proved that along with his 72 followers and supporters and family members. And I finish with this poetry, my brothers and sisters, that why do we need to revive the message of Hussein? It's because we need revival of humanity within us, and Iman and Islam and Ihsan within us, and the Quran and the authentic Sunnah within us. It's because Ahl Bayt Mustafa ki zindagi Islam hai. The life of the Ahlul Bayt is Islam. You want to see the definition of Islam? Look at the life of the Ahlul Bayt. Ahl Bayt Mustafa ki zindagi Islam hai. Ye bata dena zamane ko hamara kaam hai. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh.
جمال الوجود الوجود بذكر الإله، وتصفو الحياة بنور هداه. جمال الوجود بذكر الإله، وتصفو الحياة